Hey guys, and welcome to another Factorio Friday Facts discussion, and I am joined again by Scarhoof.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going over the little things too. So this is Friday Facts 213. I think not last Friday Facts, but the one before they did the little things, and then this is the kind of sequel to that. So written by Clonin. Essentially, first off, they just start by talking about tutorial dependencies, where they found some problems when going through some of the tutorials when they wanted to introduce a new concept to the player, but we don't enforce or encourage any order to the tutorials. This means the player might start the ghost rail tutorial before he knows what ghosts are, or play the rail signal tutorial before he knows how to use trains. The solution is to add dependencies to the tutorial, so we recommend to the player you should play this tutorial before another.
Yep, super simple. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Kind of guides the player a bit better, I would say, for sure. And then another advantage is that it sorts the tutorials better. Now suggested or unplayed tutorials will show at the top of the list. Tutorials with missing dependencies will show in the middle, and then the finished ones will, of course, be at the bottom. So again, like you said, pretty cool, simple, helpful. But now we get into kind of the meat of things. This is a very... I want to say big, but it's not.
Yeah,
it's not like huge,
changes.
but
yeah, it's one of those little changes that is going to have wide-reaching effects.
There you go. It's a better way to say
it. We talked I don't know, a couple episodes ago about how Apple tries to refine how many clicks. This is one of those things.
Yeah,
they're trying to make it so that when you click, it makes more sense why you're clicking.
Yeah, exactly, and just eliminates amount of clicks and manual stuff in general. So the logistic request pasting. So if you don't know, if you shift right click on an assembler to copy and then shift left click on a request chest to paste, this is currently a thing, it pastes to the requester the materials required for whatever the assembler is making, and I think it's 2 times the ingredients required.
Yeah, although I've seen maybe up to 10, but maybe I have a mod on my system or something like that.
I think that's a mod, because I experienced that too, but then someone said it was a mod. So I believe currently it's either 2 or 10 currently, I think, for the materials required for whatever the assembler is making. And they say that here, and then the deal is, though, the design question is how much should the logistics chest request? Quick recipes like electronic circuits need a lot of materials to avoid idle time, while items that are slower to craft, like modules, can result in a lot of materials sitting idle in the chest. This creates a lot of cases where the pasted amounts need to be adjusted manually, which, I mean, obviously we've pretty much all experienced this. It does get kind of annoying when you have to manually go in and change the request every time, even though you have the copy-paste feature. It doesn't really do what you want to do a lot of the time.
Yep.
However, the change they're making is one of our community contributors, I'm so bad with names, Mylon, designed a new system which is now integrated in 16. The system scales the count of requested items to the crafting time of the recipe and to the speed of the specific assembling machine. It aims to keep the chest supplied with 30 seconds of crafting ingredients. So notice in this example, as we scroll down, how the amounts varying between the machines being pasted from. This is really cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. I'm already thinking of ways that you could, like, easily in-game, you can calculate, like, rockets per minute and stuff like this, or assemblies per minute, because normally you have to do some math, right? You have to calculate the speed of the assembly machine, the crafting time, the base crafting time, the productivity, all that jazz. You're essentially getting all that built into a simple copy-paste.
For the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough idea, so you can kind of see how recipes scale and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And in this example, you can see, an assembler making green circuits with full speeds in it is requesting a ton of stuff because that's how much it needs to make green circuits for 30 seconds without running out of materials with this speed of assembler. And then on the kind of opposite side of that, there's one with productivity, and it's requesting way less. Now, what you said about the, having it kind of built into the pace, the like ratios and stuff, is true, but like this is an example with the productivity where it's not entirely, because they're basing it just off the speed of the machine, right? So, the machine may be, what is this, like almost a tenth of the speed as the one with the speeds, but you're getting more than a tenth of the circuits because you have the productivity in there.
Right.
And this
right.
is amplified even more when you get
40%.
beacons and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I like that you can recalculate once you've added beacons. It looks at what the speed of that machine is right then and there, and it calculates it. And one of the things that drives me nuts a little bit is, you know how you'll have like a row of assemblers and you put down a row of beacons close by, and every other assembly machine seems to be a slightly different speed. It goes from like 3.75 to like 3 or 2.75 or something like that. And so you kind of have to average them out sometimes because of how the beacons distribute. Each one will be calculated differently. So as long as you're willing to copy paste down each one of these things, they'll each get whatever they need for that specific assembly machine's speed.
Right, which will be really nice. So overall, I would say this is a really very nice change. Now, you know, of course, one thing this doesn't take into account that you probably do want to take into account is distance. A lot of people were saying this, like in the forum discussion, is, you know, if you're, you know, supply is, I don't know, like a chunk or half a chunk away from this, these will work fine, right? But if you're requesting, you know, for like this green circuit one with the speeds or something, if you're requesting this and the materials are like on the other side of your base, you need to like double or triple these requests, even that it gives you just to cover the distance latency. So, you know, of course, that I would imagine that would actually be quite difficult to implement, even or possible. I don't know if it's even possible. So
yeah, we'll still have to be responsible for designing our bot networks properly. But I mean, you know, it's you know, once we start using this, it's we're going to get quickly used to it, you know, because previously it was right click, copy, paste, and it's 2x. So if you were super far away, you just had to go in and like add a 0 to the end of everything. Now it's just it's slightly different. Instead of 2x, it's 30 seconds worth of crafting. So
right, which in most cases it's just really nice because you won't even have to change it because it will just work.
Yep. Although this might actually end up storing a lot more resources if people are used to just 2x things and they're having a lot of things like green circuits, really fast type things. They might be surprised at how much more resources are now going to be held into those things. So just keep that in mind. Yeah,
that is true. We'll catch you by surprise, but it is, you know, correct. I mean, you know, for the thing to run for 30 seconds, you're going to need this many resources. So it's a lot more, but I think overall it'll be better.
Yep.
So that's the main change here. This one is pretty good. The buildability checks. Is the thing in the cursor buildable where it is being held? So, you know, that's a question they ask themselves or is presented. And it sounds simple at first, but as the game has advanced, it has quickly become anything but. Not all entities have the same buildability rules. You know, like gates can only be built on rails, but not all rails. Mining drills can only be built on the correct ore type. Rail signals can only be built on rails or next to rails unless you're ghost placing them, and then they can be placed anywhere. Offshore pumps can only be built at the edge of water and land. And then, you know, to complicate even further, when you get into like ghost entities, you can place a lot of them anywhere, or like other entities are ignored if they're marked for deconstruction. And the tile ghosts can't be built on tiles of the same type. It wouldn't do anything. So essentially, when shift-clicking blueprints, trees and rocks are ignored since they will be marked for deconstruction if they are in the way. This is currently true. Anything that can't be built is just ignored in the blueprint, which is also currently true. However, there's, you know, special cases and stuff and so many combinations of when things can and can't be built or just ignored that he's probably missed a few of them. Something that has been missing for some time now has been making all of these variations render correctly in the preview you see before building something. So, you know, they give an example like mining drills. If you're holding a blueprint over a patch of ore while shift clicking, you know, shift holding it down, any trees and rocks in the way will be marked for deconstruction and the ghost will be placed. However, in 0.15 currently, the preview will not be updated so the drills will show as red, like in the blueprint when you're going to do it. But now in 16, they're actually rendered correctly, which, you know, it's another little small change, but it's like, it's just clearer. And especially I would imagine for new players, it's going to be big because it's way less confusing.
Well, I was thinking if you're building near the edge of water or something like that, sometimes it's difficult to tell whether it's the mining drill is showing up as red because it's going to go over the top of trees or if it's falling off the edge into water. And so for it to now only show red when it physically can't be placed, it's going to just make it a lot nicer. So now you can tell, oh, I need to move this over like 2 blocks to get out of the water, or, you know, versus now it's just like, well, is that because of a bunch of trees in the way or what?
Yeah, exactly. And again, for new players, marks the trees for deconstruction currently, but the drills still show red, so it can be really confusing if you don't know how it works. Like, well, is this going to place? Did it not work? Is it broken? So just another little teeny change, but it'll be nice overall. And that's the Friday facts. So the main thing was the request. I think that's pretty big.
Yeah.
But that pretty much covers it.
Yep. A nice little Friday facts.
Yeah. Little teasers of quality life stuff. Yeah. Yep. All right. You have any more thoughts?
Nope. Nothing. Excited to see what's coming out.
Yeah, me too. I want the artillery wagon teaser already.
Yes.
Please. Next Friday.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Leave your thoughts down below. As always, love to hear what you think. And until next time, we will see you later.
Take care.